Welcome back, my dear champions. Let's get quickly started with HTML5 and CSS3, and it's all being JavaScript these days. So we're going to start with part number 28 today, and without wasting your time, let's get quickly started. So in this session, you are going to learn to manipulate the components of a web page. How do you manipulate components of a web page is what our question is. So I'll go back and see what we can do. The first thing is the Navigator object. Now let's see the Navigator object. So we have this Navigator object here. So I will create Navigator. So I will say, hey, whenever I basically click on the submit button, you please give me the Navigator object. So I will say document.getElement by let me return false so that it doesn't submit. Okay, document.getElement by id.innerHTML is equal to, now use an object. It's called as an implicit object. You don't create an object of Navigator. It's already ready for you. It's already ready in JavaScript. So you just call Navigator, right? And what objects does Navigator have? appName, appVersion, appCodeName, userAgent, platform, and is enabled, whatever. So first thing that we are going to use is, let's say cookies. I don't have to define what cookies are, right? If you ask me, if you insist me to define cookies, so I'll define them just like this. Cookies are temporary piece of data, right, that are stored. So I'll say temporary piece of data stored by the web server inside client computer TMP with the temporary directory for security, right, purpose or for authorizations. So now imagine you going to a website. Whenever you go to a website, they track you, right? Maybe you may like this. You go to a shopping cart and you'll suddenly get, hey, you may be interested in this, or you have shown your interest in Falani product. So that's basically cookies. They store cookies inside you. Or maybe, how does a web application remember your login? HTTP is a stateless protocol, right? Everyone knows it's a stateless protocol. Now, how does the web application remember the state of a page? So in order to remember the state of a page, so in order to remember a state of a page, right, we use sessions, and sessions internally use cookies. There are two types of cookies: persistent and non. So you are going to learn cookies in depth, in detail, when you start Enterprise Java. That Enterprise Java is full of cookies, right? But yeah, you have to understand that unless you allow cookies, right, no website will let you in. For example, let me show you a practical demonstration of a cookie. If I go to settings, right, and I say cookies, I'll just search for cookies, right? And now you can see I don't have to clear cookies. Site settings, now you can see cookies is here. So allow sites to set cookies. I'll say off. I don't want sites to set cookies. So if I go to facebook.com, now I'll not be able to access Facebook. I will not be able to access any website without allowing website to use my computer to set their own cookies so that they know who is logging in. I'm accessing as Fahim. So whether I am Fahim, how does the browser know I'm Fahim or not? So let the browser log in. So these days we are having very good connection. Internet is working very fast these days, right? Okay, so that's why we use cookies. I repeat, cookie is a temporary piece of data, stored, not stored, but stored by the web server inside client computer temp directory for purpose of authorization. In order to remember the state of a page, we use session and cookie. What do you mean by remembering a state of a page? Just like you log in only once, you go to facebook.com, you go to Instagram, you log in only once, and then it doesn't ask for the credentials again and again. It remembers that it's you who is accessing the website, right? So that's why cookies are being used. Now, if I go to FB, I'm sure that if I set my cookies off, FB is not going to allow me logging. But by the time FB basically, okay, now we are going to facebook.com. All right, then just a moment. So we go to facebook.com, and by the time we go to facebook.com, we have to see whether the cookies are allowed or not. And for that, we use Navigator Object. I can say document.getElement by ID text, which is this div text, right? We'll take Navigator dot, now you can see appName, appCode, cookie enabled, right? So I'll say cookie enabled and see what we get. I click on save, cookie is not enabled, so I get false, right? I repeat, I get false. So now let me go back to Facebook. By the time Facebook opens, we'll see some more things. Now appName, so we can set appName. It doesn't open at all. Look at my internet this time, because I'm uploading something, so that's why we're getting it. So now you're using Netscape, right? So because it uses charset of Netscape, right? Or we can say userAgent of Netscape, our browser, right? And you can say which platform are you using? Navigator.platform. I want to get the platform. Now I'll click platform that I am accessing from Win32 platform, right? Because this browser uses Win32 platform. So if I go to some other browser, let's say about here, if I change my browser to Opera, now if I click, it's Win32 here, but what is the platform? Win32, okay, but what is the app name, right? So I have to refresh and see the app name is Netscape here as well, right? Maybe Internet Explorer, so I'll say Edge. I will open Microsoft Edge and see, right? So it also uses Netscape. So let's see some other different things. Let's say about appCodeName. We have many different things that we can use in here. So you got to try every single thing yourself as well. All right, so you can say product. Navigator.product. Hey, you mind if you give me the product details? So now you have this chart set, right? So GECKO, GECO, I don't know how do you pronounce it. Here also GECO, right? And if I say, hey, I want you to give me the user agent. Now what is user agent? User agent is the complete, I repeat, complete information of the client accessing the web server. For example, you have hosted your website somewhere and now the client is accessing. What is his user agent? Now the client is accessing from the user agent Mozilla 5.0 charset from the platform Windows NT, and the operating system he is using is Windows 64, and the WebKit that the browser uses Apple WebKit, right, and it uses GECO, and the version of the browser is Chrome. Here is Chrome and Safari and Edge, so it is basically this. So you can see that even Internet Explorer Edge is using the charset of Google Chrome, right? But the version will differ. So let me go to some other browser, and you can see 83, Safari 756. So now if I go to Opera, it is going to show me a different charset right here. It's also using Apple WebKit. Now every browser uses Apple WebKit for the but here you can see Opera uses a different version. Now what is this? User agent. User agent is basically information about the client who is accessing the browser, information of the client accessing the website, right? The charset of the website, the platform, which is NT platform, Windows NT. I'm accessing from Windows. If I access from iOS, right? So I'll get iOS platform, and the architecture is a 32-bit operating system you're accessing from, or the 64-bit architecture. So we're accessing from Windows 64-bit architecture, and this is the Apple WebKit that we are using. So this is the browser information and the user information. That's why we call this as a user agent, right? Okay. Let me go back to Facebook. Now you can see Facebook has logged me off. Now if I try logging in, now clearly see the message right here. I am trying to log in without cookies because I have set cookies enabled as off. So I'm not allowing Facebook to set any cookie inside my computer. That means that Facebook is not going to recognize who am I. How is Facebook going to allow me without recognizing who I am? So in order to get who am I, right, I need to do certain changes, certain things, right, and I need to first enable Facebook, right? So by the time it logs in, it's giving us a whiplash these days, right? So you understood. Okay, some response has come, right? Now you can see it's not allowing me login. And let's see what response we get. Okay, now we are getting user agent and product we have seen, app version we have seen. So you can see app version. What is the app version you're using? Right, so I can click, and this is the app version we are using. It's all the part of user agent as well, but yeah, you are just iterating through different things, right? Platform, yeah. If you want to see what is the browser language supported, so I'll say language. So I will say navigator.language, language. So it's language en. We should get en-us language. Default language set for the browser is en-us. Navigator.online. If the browser is online or non, so we should get true, right? O-N-L-I-N-E, online, and we should get true for this, right? So no, it's not giving us anything. So let's see, it's getting undefined. Is Java enabled? Yeah, we can see is Java enabled. Is my browser Java enabled? Right, false. Your browser has not Java, is not Java enabled. So applets will not work on your browser. Why is your browser not Java enabled? Because you're not installed the JRE properly, right? But applets, we hardly use them these days, so it's not required. And what does your slide show? App version, app code name, user if platform is okay. It's taint enabled, so we can say TA. It's not working. TAINT. Alright, we can see different things. So, right, you can try them one by one. So we're not getting any response here. Okay, so it does not return true or false. Let's say navigator online, undefined. Okay, language we got US. So let's stuck to cookies. Is cookies enabled? So I'll say save. Yeah, cookies is not enabled. So let's go to Facebook. It's not allowing us. Now you can see Facebook is not allowing logging without cookies, right? So now let me go ahead and go to settings. Right, let me go to settings and say COOKIES blocked. Cookies is blocked, so I'll say enable. So now I'm allowing websites to set cookies, right? So now I go back and check, click save. Now you're getting true. Why? Because enabled. So maybe if you want to see, right, if you want you don't want anyone to access your website, right? So I will say without cookie set. So I'll say function check cookies, right? So you should not allow users to log into your website without cookies, right? So you will say if navigator.cookie enabled, right? If navigator.cookie enabled is equivalent to or we can say is not equivalent to true. Now what you got to do, you can use document object. So you can use document object, or you can use window object here. So I'll say window dot, right, you can see, or you can use document also. Document dot location, you can use location is equivalent to some other page. So I'll say test.html, right? And I'll call this check cookies method on body load. So I'll say, hey, whenever you load body, why is it, I have done some mistake right here. So this is basically body. Yeah, it's inside the body, but why is form outside the body? It's not going to be accepted. So now I can say body on load. So I'll say, hey, on load JavaScript check cookies. That's it. Check cookies. Now you can see cookies has been checked and I'm allowed to visit the page. Now in order, if I set, now you can clearly see, yeah, hip hip hooray, cookies required. Cookies are not enabled on your browser. Please enable cookies, your browser preferences to continue. Facebook, Gmail, no other company, no browser, no website is going to let you in without cookies, because they will not be able to recognize who you are. That's why cookies are very important. And I said cookies are temporary piece of data set inside client computer for authorization and authentication purpose, and they often use them for tracking the user activities on their own website. They will not track your activities on some other websites. No, that's not possible on their own website, right? So let me go back to settings. It took us a while, right? Look at the internet, right? How do we manage to study? My God. Okay, I'll go to cookies, right, and I'll go to cookies and I'll set cookies false, and now I'll go to my website test.html. I'll be forwarded to des.html. Now you can see I'm automatically forwarded to des.html. Why? Because you can forward user to some other page which says, hey, you got to enable your cookies, right? I will not allow you to access my website. Now you can see there I have played, we have been able to conditionally format it. Check cookies is checked whenever you load your page, right? Body on load checks cookies, and if navigator.cookie enable does not return true, please go to des.html. So now I'll not be able to go to my main page, that is test.html. No, I'll not. I go forward. I'm forwarded to des.html. Now what I do, I say, hey, it's not blocked. Cookies are not blocked, right? And what will happen if I go to test.html? I can visit test.html. As simple as anything. So what are other objects? So we have these. You can try them one by one. So let's go and get started with screen object. Now what do you want to see? And what are the things available? Once you use screen object, we have properties of screen object, like width is there, right? Height is there. What is the width? What is the property, right? So we can say we can use window.screen for that, right? And let's see all the properties. Hey, please give me on click. Whenever I click on the button, del is called. You can clearly see here, right? Del is called when I click on the button, submit. And I say, please give me screen dot height. What is the height of the screen that I'm accessing from? Right, so I click. Now 720 pixels is the maximum height that we're accessing from. And I will say, what is the width? So I'll say, right, so you can say 1280. You can even use these things for different things. Right, you can use them for different things. If if width is something, do something. If height is something, do something. Right, what is the available width? So we'll say AVAL, right? What is the available height? So I'll say 690 is only available. Now if I just decrease the height, and now you can see what is the available. It's still 690 because this is what is available at this time, because you can go ahead and you can divide the text, or you can give wrapper the height and anything else, that whatever you want, right? So that's the available width. So it's not going to basically show us anything like this, but yeah, what is the color depth? So we can check screen dot color depth, returns the color depth, right? You can say 24. And the pixel depth, you can see pixel pix, screen is going to return the pixel depth. You just have to know these properties, because you will be using those properties. If you're not understanding it completely, it's going to come again, and you'll be using them in responsive web application design and development, inshallah, right? So you can even set, you'll say, hey, I want to set whenever I load my document, I want to set screen dot height, right, is equivalent to 100. So we can do this as well. Alright, so now we can see if I get screen dot height, it's not going to work like this because we have not styled and documented, because 720 pixels is available. It's going to take, unless you manually style it, right? So for that, it's not height of a particular div. If you want to get a height of a particular div, you can see, so you can say something like this. Okay, we'll say var x is equal to document.getElementId text. So I will say x dot inner HTML is equal to x dot height. So this is how we can, what is the height of x? So now you can clearly see. I'll say save. Okay, we're not getting anything. Why aren't we getting x dot inner HTML is equal to hello, what's up? Yeah, I'm getting hello. I can say x dot height. So can you please give me x dot height? It's not a function, yeah, undefined. So you have not defined it, right? So now we can define the height here. So we will say style height 300 pixels. Right, so now you can go ahead. Still getting undefined, I don't know. Style text. What if I set the height here? I will say document.getElementBy.height is equal to 300 pixels, or maybe 300. You can do this. Yeah, so we should get, we're still getting undefined. X dot height. Okay, I don't know. What is this? Maybe screen dot width and screen dot height. Yeah, maybe we're not using jQuery here. Anyways, so we're not using jQuery, I suppose. That's why we are getting this kind of error right here. So we'll have to deal with this. Okay. Screen object width we should get. Once I say, okay, let me delete this. Okay, let me see if we can set. Yeah, it's not getting set, right? So we can change it. So I can say x dot inner or x dot height is equal to 100. So we can use this maybe. Yeah, we're getting height 100, right? So we're setting height to 100, and then we say give me x dot height, and then it's giving me 100. We can say x dot height 1000. You can clearly see. Save button will come here, right? You can see 1000. No, it's not coming because we are doing height, right? X dot height is equal to 1000. So that's absolutely fine. Let me see. Yes, absolutely good. We are getting it. So once I say x dot width, so will you please give me x dot width? But anyways, it's not our topic, so width is not defined, so we can define width as well. So I can say x dot width is equal to 1000, and we'll get 1000 again. So anyways, it's not the topic. We are going to particularly, and we're going to deal with the screen object only, so we don't need to do these things. Right, so screen dot height, what is the maximum screen height available? So now this thing is going to help you in responsive web application development, because you have to get the screen size and then fit your application and object as per the screen size. So color depth, everything is seen, right? So what is the history object? Forward, back, and go. So I will say, hey, wait a second. When I click on this del, I will say history. I'll call the object history dot. So I will say back. Now you're calling the history of the browser. You say, hey, I click on this del, right? So I can write it down here, value is equal to back, go back. Now let's say if I am coming from let's say test, right? So I'll go to index.html. So this is my index.html, right? And if I say go back, and now if I click on back, it will use history, right? Okay, let me go to dest first. Let's go to dest and say ahref is equal to test.html. So you will say test page. So I'm using anchor tag so that I'm navigated to test.html here, right? And I have to open test.html. Now it's test.html. Click here to go to test page. I go to test page. Now once I click back, and once I click back, nothing happens. I am just fed up with this. History has to be there. Okay, what do I do? Maybe I have done something wrong. Whenever I click on del, I want a history.back. Yeah, history has a back method. History has a go method, and history had a forward method, right? And this history is not giving me anything at all. All right, so that is where the problem lies. So I'll say window.history.back maybe. Okay, let me see if I do window.history.back. It's not okay. Now it's, oh my god, the history is too much. So I say test page, go back. No, it's not going. If I come from dest, I click on back, I should be able to go back, but I am not going. So I'll say return false. So I'll have to first return false here. Right, now I'm coming from dest to test back. Yeah, now it's going back. What happened? We were not returning false because you can clearly see on click you are expecting a return from this del. All right, so expecting return from this. Let it be, even if it's not a button, it can be anything, right? It can be, let's say, about, if it's not in the form, for example, it is a label. All right, you can say go back. So you can say here, all right, on click, all right, you can call the function del without even returning false. Now we don't need to return false. You have to return false only when something is in the form, right? And if it's a submit button. If it's a button, no need to return false, because you don't want this form to get submitted. Now the label has on click, so I can say JavaScript and I'll call the function del, and as simple as anything. So go to the test page. Now go back, click here, you're going back, right? You'll go back to the page that you're coming from, right? Whichever page you're coming from, your history tells, and you'll go back. And now you can go to this dash.html. You can say go to go forward. You can say go forward. I want to go forward, right? And you will not call anything else here, right? You can go to A without any href. You can say, hey, on click, I want JavaScript, right? Window dot history dot for. So you can say window dot history dot forward, which is the function. So let me see this now. I go to test page, go back, go forward. I go forward to the test, go back, go forward. And even if you don't use window, so history dot this is going to work. Let me say that I want to go use history dot back only. So in that way, yeah, you can use it. Go back, but you have to return false. So, but yeah, I'll click on the label. Go back, you are going back. Go forward, you go forward, right? So these are the methods that we can use history. What you are doing here, you're using the history of the browser, right, to deal with, right? You're dealing with the history of the browser typically and particularly right here. So now go is again going to return something, right? So let's see. what this Go is going to give us. Screen object has seen many different things, so let's see. All right. Also, I'll say history.go. So if I click on return history.go, I will say return false because it's a button. Why do I return false? Because this del, if it's called from this button here, I'll call this go, right? If I call this from this button go, it expects a return, right? If I do not return true, it's not going to be submitted, right? You're going to understand this in a great detail. I'll say go. Now where do you go? All right, so go requires particular things. I'll say history.go, or you can say, does it support history dot get attention? So global. No, it does not have go. Go takes an argument abc.html. I just forgot go. So, but yeah, it is going to work. Alright, so we don't have any page that we can basically deal with, or maybe that deals with go. Alright, so we will see history.go. Okay, let's see a few more things before we understand this. Go. Oh, we have location object. So we have already seen document.location, hostname, href, port, protocol, assign. So we'll see these things as well. All right. So before I see history.go, let's go and get these things. What time is it? Alright, we have very less time. We may not be able to complete with anything. So let's stick to history.go. So we'll just use history.go, and it does not take any parameter. I was just trying something that I don't know. So what we are going to do here, I want to go 2 steps back, or I want to go 1 step back to history. Alright, so I can use this window. So I can say history dot go -1, right? I want to go 1 step back to my history. So I'll say go 1 step back. Now you can see I will go to test page and say go 1 step back. Go to test page. Now one test page, I'll show you this. Now I'm accessing this test page. Let's refresh 1, 2 and 3. So now how many times do I have to click go? 1 only. Alright, because you are jumping in. Alright, so if I go to test page and I say history.go, what is the history? History is only 1 page, right? So if I have to go 2 pages back, right, so I'll say -2. So that means I have to go 2 pages back. So I'll just click, refresh it, go 2 pages. So there's nothing like 2 pages. Yeah, I have to click on many different things. Test page, go 2 steps back. 2 steps back is the same page. Yeah, for example, if you're having a hyperlink that you're coming from 1 page and then you're going to 2nd page, then you want to jump in and go to the previous page, and you can do the same, and you can do even history dot you can even do history dot back, and you can even history dot do -2, or you can say history dot 2, history dot go 1. So even if you want to say go 1, so it's 1 is going to be +1. Alright, so this is just navigating through the history. What is the history? Go to history, Control H. Now you can see the history here, right, of your page. When you click on go, you can go use this history of your own computer, right, or use the history of your own browser to navigate here and there using the history object. So now tomorrow we are going to just wind up in two more classes, and we are going to look at the location object, because location object is not something that's going to get finished, and the form object is not going to get finished in a single class. But yeah, there are many interesting things coming for next 2 classes, and those 2 classes are going to be very interesting. And I'll try and make them more interesting, and you got to practice them back home and practice them very hard. I wish you all the best, and do practice, and let me know if you have some problems, right? As you know, I was not feeling well for many days. I could not respond, but now I'm fit and fine and okay. I shall be content to respond to any query of yours. I wish you all the best, and see you tomorrow with a new class, location object, form object and button object. I wish you good luck. Bye bye. Take care.